Hello, it's Marcy, and yep, I'm remaking another video I have previously made again. This time, it definitely warrants it. My original video about the Engrave skill still, sorta, kinda, holds up. But, with much more hours invested into Termina, especially as a Marina main, I feel like I can present my points better. Much better. So, I will explain what each sigil does, and talk about my thoughts on them. It must be said that the Mairo of Finland is working on a massive update for Termina, and he may potentially revamp the Engrave skill. If that happens, woo boy, I will make an update video. Before I begin, I want to thank Grimoire for making this hand-drawn piece for the thumbnail for this video. I honestly looks like art that would belong in the 100 games. I love it! Look at Marina's face, like she hates drawing sigils. It's perfect! It's hella different to what I use for thumbnails, but hey, I'm open to trying new things. Grimoire's links are in the description of this video. Definitely check her out. They have comms open too. Send her some love. With all that said, let's do some engraving! What is the Engrave skill? To be literal, the Engrave skill is using a knife to permanently scar yourself with a sigil of the old or ascended god on your face. Lore-wise, engraving used to be done on the body, but times change and people prefer to do it on their face instead. It's easier to brag about how devoted you are to a god this way. Honestly, it's a really cool way to explain how with time, the method people worship God changes. We even see the priest and Father Hugo have engraving on their hands, not their face. The way the 100 Games explores religion is so masterful. Mairo is a great writer. In terms of gameplay, Engrave acts like an extra accessory slot that boosts your character's stats, but it is permanent. You cannot change it. You cannot remove it. You are stuck with it till the end. Unless you reload an earlier save or start a new game. It's important to remember to use the skill, you need the Engrave skill, duh, and a skin bible of one of the gods. This means you could end up with a skin bible you don't wish to engrave the sigil on your face, and never gain the one you want. RNG plays a factor in it. It's why Marina's character history should never be skipped. Being able to get a random one at the start is so powerful. With that they will let you out of the way, let's cover what each one of the god sigils do when you engrave it, mixed with my opinions on it. Oh yeah, the character portrait gets updated when you use the engrave skill. Slick Golgoroth, +4 attack. This is deemed to be one of the worst sigils you can engrave on your character or party member. This is because it isn't really noteworthy. Like, yes, physical attacks will hit a little harder, but is it worth it when the other options are straight up better? Not to mention, there's a skill called Adrenaline Rush that will boost your physical attack every turn up to 3 turns if you really want a boost in your physical attack. There is a small benefit to using Golgoroth's sigil. It's kind of a meme, but using the sigil as Marco with bare fists proficiency is such a blast. Your fists hit harder. It's one of the few ways to increase your damage your fist does. By no means is it powerful, it's just really funny. For real, if you really want to boost an attack, then get a better weapon, get a party member, Adrenaline Rush, etc. There are better sources of attack than using an Engrave sigil slot. So we gotta ask ourselves, is there a way to make Golgoroth's Engrave better? The obvious answer would be more attack, but it needs something more. My suggestion would be +8 attack, and characters who can't wield two-handed melee weapons such as Marina and Karen can wield two-handed melee weapons. The increase in attack isn't wild, but it means that physical attacks have a bit more punch to it. Of course, allowing characters who can't wield two-handed weapons to wield them allows the player to experiment more. To be honest, I don't know if this would be enough of a buff for people to use it. I would love to hear your thoughts on the sigil. Hello, it's Marceline editing here, and an idea that I thought of that which might make it more interesting would be to give the character the ability to smash doors open. Mairo could make a cute little animation in the outworld just of the player just grabbing the door and ripping it open. Since Golgoroth is about physical attack, maybe it gives them the physical strength to open doors like that. I don't know if that would be cool. I understand that people could use small keys or lockpicking to open doors, but it's just an idea, maybe it's a fun one. But I don't know, it's just a suggestion. I thought of it while I was editing, so yeah, let me know your thoughts on that idea. Back to the video. Armor +3 defense. Yeah, another sigil that a lot of people deem to be one of the worst ones. And I agree. Like, the physical buffs from Armor and Golgoroth are terrible. The ones that buff magic stats are so much better. The Armor sigil is bad, because it doesn't really make much of a difference in fights. It doesn't prevent them loss, it doesn't increase stats resistances, nada. You simply tank a little bit more physical damage. Technically, there are 2 situations where it's kinda useful, but it's so underwhelming. The first one is that but sometimes, if the RNG gods bless you, you can endure an attack that would have killed you. That +3 defense that May is doing a lot of lifting, will leave you with some health. This is nice, if it happens, but most of the time you're going to straight up die, or a nasty status effect will do the damage the sigil defended, so it ends up not being that useful. The second one requires you to use it as early as possible. A lot of enemies will use physical attacks in the early game, and in the long run you can save a couple of healing resources. It's nice, I guess, but it's not that useful. For the most part, you want to avoid fights. If you're in a fight, then you want to take no damage. For real, when you become really good at Termina, you'll be able to win fights without taking damage. This buff becomes an insurance one. You take it expecting to take damage you don't want to take. And to be honest, it's a crappy insurance plan. This sigil is so bad, like it doesn't do anything against magic attacks, which are more dangerous. Plus, if you find the Stim Bible late game, it's worthless. As I said in my old video, the perfect buff for this sigil would be limb loss immunity. Take away the defense boost. This alone would rival the Fear and Hunger sigil, and it fits with Ulmer as well. He endured a lot. He's literally Fear and Hunger Jesus, Venushka, plus 3 magic attack. In my last video, I mentioned that all of the sigils that give you a stat buff aren't worth it. My stance has changed regarding the magic related ones. This is because they are more valuable than the physical ones. Plus 3 magic attack doesn't sound like much, but magic is way stronger than physical. Magic spells usually apply additional status like burning, bleeding, blind, etc. Skills like the Black Orb do multi-hits. Magic is straight up stronger than physical. That little buff will aid you in finishing fights easier. Magic is already OP in Termina, and this buff gives you a little fuel to get OP quicker. The sigil is tied to magic builds. Don't take this if you're going for physical. I don't know if the sigil needs adjusting. If the other sigils get a buff, it may be underwhelming to take this one. If I had to give it a little buff, maybe reduce mind costs for spells. Solivian, plus 3 magic defense. Unlike Ulmer's one, this is really useful. The dangerous enemies and almost all bosses use magic, and because magic is way stronger than physical, that plus 3 does a lot of work. It doesn't make you invincible, but it's so nice to take. This is probably the most balanced sigil. It doesn't need changing whatsoever. Maybe you could argue that at the end of your turn you get a little bit of mind back as well, but honest to God, it's fine as it is. The only problem is that the Rare and the God of Fear and Hunger sigils are more interactive. They change how you play the game. This is just a passive buff. In terms of gameplay, it's useful, but it's kind of dull. But, no matter what build you're doing, this will always be useful. Rare, plus 25 max mind. This one is definitely for magic builds. It's the only way to ever get more max mind. This is just straight up nice to have. There are some spells that have an expensive mind cost, so being able to cast more spells is pretty powerful. In addition, this makes items that recover mind more efficient. Like, let's say you have 60 mind and you use the vodka that heals 50 mind. You lose out on 10 potential mind healing. If you had 125 max mind, you would get the whole 50 healing from the vodka. And I totally know what one of you will say, but wait till your mind drops to 50, then use the vodka. True, but in battles you don't always have that chance. It's an extra benefit to a great sigil. This one, in my opinion, doesn't need any changes. The God of Fear and Hunger, plus 5 agility. Here we are, till this day, ever since the game was launched. I will say, hey, that rhymed. This is by far the strongest sigil you can engrave. It works with all builds. Agility helps you escape from fights easier, which is nice. However, what makes it really powerful is how it will always make sure you act first, and grant you an extra turn in battles. All characters will start with 10 agility, make it 15 thanks to the sigil, and that means you will always act first in fights. On top of that, if you're able to get one more agility, then for 90% of the enemies you fight, you will get an extra turn in battle. I don't really need to explain why having an extra turn in battle is powerful. No, I will. You can heal, attack again. If you have perfect guard, you can guard making you immune to limb loss and take less damage. You can end fights more safely. You can try to escape if you think fighting is a bad idea, so on and on. This makes the game really easy. But wait a second, if your whole party has the God of Fear and Hunger sigil engraved on their faces too, and have a source of agility, they get extra turns! This is just broken. Not to mention, you can play Marina's intro, or not play as Marina on easier mode, to get the God of Fear and Hunger Stim Bible at the very start of the game! Why am I yelling? Ah! I don't blame people who only use a God of Fear and Hunger sigil engrave. It's that good! Even if Myro nerfed it to plus 1 agility, there is a guaranteed way to get a small things amulet. The only way to nerf it would be to completely change what the sigil does. And honestly, I don't know how the community would react to that. If Mario were to change what the sigil does, a lot of people would be divisive about it. So, with all the sigils covered, here's some extra tips. You can cheese Marina's intro until you get the skin Bible you want. I know, the way of the cheese isn't for everyone, but if you really want one, then do it. If you're playing on easy mode and you're not playing as Marina, talk to her to get the Fair and 100 skin Bible, please! If you recruit Marina, she will have the Engrave skill, so definitely use it as soon as possible. Speaking of as soon as possible, the Engrave skill gets more value the sooner you use it. I understand it's not everyone's priority, but if you want a sigil engraved on your face, then make it a priority. You need the skin Bible to get the God sigil. Sometimes you won't get the ones you want. Make do with what you have. Even the weaker ones will aid you, even if it's just by a little bit. Be mindful when choosing the one sigil you want to engrave. You may accidentally engrave the one you didn't want. Yes, it has happened to me. Damn you, game! No, it's my fault for being silly and rushing. And that's really it. That's a way more in-depth look at the Engrave skill. I hope it was useful to you, and you learned something new. Remember, Mario may change how they work in a future update. Just a wild idea, but I wonder if engraving would add a point of affinity to the God sigil you engraved on your face. I think that would make the skill more interesting, and make players use the weaker ones just to get the affinity. That would be a cool gameplay mechanic. But wait! This video isn't over yet. The beautiful Grimoire made this divine thumbnail for this video, and it's fantastic. Using a hand-drawn piece for a thumbnail of a video is totally different to what I usually use, but I'm glad I did it. Her style fits with Fair and Hunger, and I really want to work with her again in the future. Her links will be in the description of this video. By the way, she's cosplayed characters from the Fair and Hunger games, which is hella cool. And did I mention she has chromes open? If you want a hand-drawn piece like this one, DM her! Go on! Do it, or else we will engrave Golgoroth's sigil on your face. Support Grimoire now! Do it!